Well, everyone, I hope everybody is having a wonderful morning. Thank you for coming to the class today. I wanted to let you know, hey, thank you again to Encompass. They are the reason that we have these classes. Today is kind of a one-off class. It's something that is truly a revenue stream um, for appliance repair personnel. It um, is something, like I said, is near and dear to my heart. Um, Whenever preventive maintenance plans first came out, I was one of the ones that said, you know what, this is something that we really need to look at, and can we make a revenue stream out of this? The answer to the question is yes, you can. It depends on your technicians, your front office people. Can I get somebody that is passionate and will actually help sell the program? Because I mean, think about yourself. Most people don't even think about a preventative maintenance program. The homes that you go into um, that require a preventative maintenance program that you really should probably be able to sell to a customer. Any home. Okay. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is what exactly is a preventative maintenance program. Okay. This is the true definition of a preventative maintenance plan. Okay. The preventative maintenance plan is an organized approach to maintaining the condition of a building, machine, or other piece of equipment. The preventative maintenance strategy requires regular inspection and upkeep under the order to address potential issues before they become serious repair or replacement needs. Okay. So that's a really fancy way of saying what it is. Okay. Preventative maintenance is consumables that everybody needs to be replacing in their refrigerator. Uh, could be their dishwasher, or it could be their air conditioner, or it could be their dryer or their washer. Everything has a need that needs to be watched and taken care of. The reason I said an ice machine is a perfect example of what has to happen. Okay. An ice machine requires a 6 month, which is recommended by about 85 to 90% of the manufacturers, want you to come and do a preventative maintenance program, or the customer needs to do it. But we all know that that's probably not going to happen. That needs to be done every 6 months. If I have a water filter in my refrigerator, that needs to be replaced somewhere between every 6 months to every 8 months. It depends on your area. It depends on the water quality in your area. But that's something that you need to know. So if I go out to customer Smith's house, and she's getting a little older, like me, the first thing that happens is I forget to change it. So if I forget to change it, if I can stop the refrigerator up, the refrigerator water line up. So that's something that you have to take care of, regularly. Okay, without fail. If you don't, then you run the risk of damaging your product more. Okay, so you're going to have to pardon me. Evidently, there I am allergic to some of the foliage at my parents' house. So I apologize. I'm wheezing really bad today, so I'm just going to get out of the way and apologize. But going on, okay, preventative maintenance is an important aspect of keeping any machinery running at its peak performance. Like I said, it doesn't matter what it is. Could be a range. It could be a refrigerator, a washer, a dryer, an air conditioner. That's all. That's what you're going to be looking at. All right. So with the right maintenance schedule and preventative maintenance plan, you can reduce equipment downtime. I can increase the productivity of the item, and I can even boost the customer satisfaction with the product that they purchased. Okay. How do you create a preventative maintenance plan? Although that's a lot that goes into creating a preventative maintenance program, from defining it to the most important preventative maintenance tasks to creating a long-term preventative maintenance schedule. It's not as daunting as it may sound. Okay, that's a really good statement right there. Okay, there is a lot that goes into creating a preventative maintenance program. Like I said, whenever I was first looking at this, I owned my own business, and we were starting to get customers that we were selling water filters to. So, what does that require? That requires that I have to have a stock of water filters for the customers that I have signed up on my preventative maintenance program, so that I always have that in stock, and it always goes out, or my technician goes out, depending on what they sell, how they sell it to the customer, and even just getting it in the mail box, it reminds me, hey, I got to go change my water filter. The problem is, a lot of times people will say, yeah, let's do that. I don't want you to have to come back out. It's going to cost me a whole lot more. But the problem is, they'll set it down and they forget about it because it comes in the mail. So, I mean, with just a few steps, with the right selling, okay, you can create a preventative maintenance program. Really, like I said, it's dependent upon your front office people and also your technicians. If your technicians believe in the program, then you're gonna have a whole lot better success on getting this done. This subject came up while I was in Dallas, and I was talking to one of the owners of the company, an appliance repair company in Dallas, and he says, I've been thinking about that. Said, how do I go about it? And I go, well, it's funny you asked that. I used to be a whole lot more plugged in to the appliance manufacturing than I used to be. As a matter of fact, whenever I was with Electrolux, which is the last company that I was with before I started this, that's what we were doing, is we were actually sending out flyers trying to get people to sign up for having the water filters shipped to them on whenever it was time for them to be changed. So the manufacturers are getting into this. They see that it is a revenue stream that they can use. So just make sure that you have the product that you're going to need. If you sell it right there have it, so that the customer, you don't have to wait, and the customer doesn't have to wait for you. Okay. Preventative maintenance is critical for reducing future costs, minimizing unplanned downtime. Adopting the principles of preventative maintenance also guarantees a high level of asset performance and reduces repair backlog backlog and improves safety, okay, to ensure these benefits are realized to their fullest potential. So that's a whole different way of saying, hey, listen, um, what does my preventative maintenance, what is the cost and effect of my preventative maintenance programs that you're trying to sell? You know what? I'm reducing future costs because I can catch it if I'm in the home, okay, I can catch it a lot of things before it actually becomes a real issue, because it's not like whenever you're going into the customer's home, it's not like I just walk in and I shove a water filter in the appliance. That I do to make it successful. I do other things for the customer. You know what? One of the things that we were looking at, because we were going to tailor this for water filters, and then also we were going to have preventative maintenance for the customers that had ice machines, a little one under the counter ice machines. Those are two areas that really you have got to maintain, because if you don't, you're going to have repairs, and they come on at the worst problem. I mean, one of the problems in Atlanta that I had was the ice machines. If they go more than about 6 months, you can actually develop a film and a fungi that attaches to your ice and your ice bin. And you go in, if you don't do a regular cleaning on it, somebody opens the door and you've got this goop on the sides of the ice machine. Nobody wants to use your ice machine. I mean, me personally, I'm not going to use that. I'll go without. But so I want to make sure that I can make this appliance work at its total potential. Okay. How does a PM benefit the customer? Okay. How does a preventative maintenance program benefit the customer? Well, it does it in 5 different places. Okay. I minimize downtime. I lengthen the product life. I boost customer satisfaction. I cut costs, and I increase product productivity. Okay. So basically what's happening here is I'm minimizing downtime, because every time that I go to the customer's house, I'm checking everything to make sure that it works properly. Okay. If I see something, I find it before usually that the customer finds it. I have worked for Hire America a long time ago, back whenever Hire America was coming into the country. And one of the things that Hire America had to come and get used to was the U.S. is about the only country that whenever I have an appliance and I put it in, I don't hook it up to the internet. So what Hire America used to say was, well, when China, we get the appliance notification that something is wrong, they actually show up to the customer's house, and sometimes the customer's like, why did you call? Why are you here? And then you tell the customer, well, your refrigerator told me that it had a problem, and it told me the code, and I'm out here to take care of that problem. So that does 2 things. That minimizes my downtime, and it lengthens my product life. Okay. If I've done that, then I'm going to definitely boost customer satisfaction. The customer wants to be has the least amount of downtime that is possible. So if I can prevent downtime, I'm gonna boost my customer satisfaction. I'm gonna make the product life longer. I reduce the downtime. The other thing that I'm doing is I am cutting the cost. So how am I cutting the cost? By me being there on time before it actually happens, or something right as it's happening. I'm cutting the cost because I catch things before they actually happen. So instead of one part, I'm instead of three parts, I now can do it with one part, because especially with today's boards, these boards, if I keep the boards will trip out and have problems. So we're just making sure that we're taking care of the customer's needs and taking care of the appliances needs. Okay. So let's talk about it. If I minimize the downtime, you cause less downtime on the machine due to installation of the frequently used parts. Okay, that's all that we're doing, is we're going and we're finding frequently used parts. Maybe it's not a part. Maybe it's like what I said with a ice machine. Okay, with the ice machine, it's a cleaning that I've got to do. So if I don't do my cleaning, I may get something into the pump, and now I've got a major component that has gone bad because the pump quits working. It stops working. And I may be able to find that before going out and having I may be able to find that issue out before it becomes a true issue. Okay. So I'm going to minimize my downtime. What else am I going to do? I'm going to lengthen the product life. Okay. By changing the consumable parts at the manufacturer's recommended intervals, I lengthen the product life, and I can assist the customer at times of product failure before it becomes catastrophic. Okay. So that's a long way of saying I'm making sure that whenever I go in, I'm checking everything, and I can lengthen my product life because I'm finding little things that go wrong that now if they go unchecked, they're going to end up they're going to end up causing bigger and more expensive issues. Okay, so I'm going to cut my costs. Like I said, with everybody's busy lifestyle, things get put off, or they're not remembered until it's too late. You're installing peace of mind in the customer. The preventive maintenance programs, you assist the customer with the most important thing, actually in everybody's life today, is time. I mean, I look at myself and I go and look and go, man, the one thing I don't have a whole lot of laying around is spare time. I'll be honest with you. Since I have started this position, I find my time less and less that I have free. I used to watch. I used to watch football. I used to watch baseball. I used to have a couple of shows that I used to watch. I don't have time for that anymore. I'm out putting together classes. I have technicians that call me and say, hey, I've got this problem. Can you help me with it? And the problem with me is I'm not sitting right there at it. And one of the things that it seems like technicians today, they're afraid of a meter. So that's one of the things that you've got to as a technician, you have got to. Whenever I was carrying my tool pouch with me, one of the things that was attached to my tool pouch was a meter. You got to be able to. You got to be able to know your meter, know what it means, It helps the customer because you're preventing any of the maintenance issues that may arise that I may see. Okay. So like I said, major consumable maintenance issues. But I'm also doing something while after I install that. I may cycle one of the things that we would do is cycle the ice maker. If the ice and make sure that the ice maker took on water, make sure that the water valve worked. Do some almost about 80% of the refrigerators sold in America actually have ice or water in the refrigerator itself, and you're just making sure that everything is working properly. I can check the ice and the water in the door, making sure that that it works properly. You can find out that the flapper is not working properly in the freezer section just by pushing the ice dispenser or the water dispenser and making sure that the flap closes. There's a couple of manufacturers out there right now that are still having partial issues with the flapper door not closing. So, I'm going to see that. I can let the customer know that most of the time, I'm not cutting my rates to the customer, but I'm preventing the customer from having other issues because if my flapper doesn't close for my water my ice that goes through the door, all it does is create other problems. My dad has an old Frigidaire refrigerator, and the ice flapper was a problem. Back whenever I was repairing appliances, I would come down here and repair it because he's in a smaller community. He basically lives in a college town, and if the college is in session, there may be 8,000-9,000 people here, but whenever they leave, it may cut it back to 2,500. So a smaller community, you really need that preventative maintenance program. Okay, I'm going to increase the productivity. Take an ice machine like we have already talked about. It doesn't have its recommended 6-month cleaning cycle adhered to. What happens in a year? Like I said, you've grown fungi and mold. The ice may stick to the plate because I'm not doing my preventative maintenance. What are there other things that could happen? It could be that I'm not adjusting the water level. The water level doesn't get adjusted properly. So instead of getting full cubes, I'm only getting half cubes. If I've got it and the ice is sticking to the plate, I'm not getting a full harvest cycle. So I'm going to have problems there. So, okay. Here's some examples that you can think that I have thought of consumable parts. Okay. Water filters, air filters, cleanings, a commercial ice maker or a refrigerator, AC filters. One of the AC companies that where I used to live in Daytona, they actually had it so that on a regular interval for the customers that were on there, I think it was called the gold tier, because they were selling these preventative maintenance programs, and to get to the gold tier, you had to have this preventative maintenance program in place. So they would send an air filter, an AC air filter, and a water filter, just so that the customer had everything that they needed. These guys also, if you got the platinum level, the technician would come out. All of these cost, and your response, the thing that you have got to have is you have got to have customers that understand the value that you bring to the table. That's the reason you got to have the right for rapport with the customer. If I do not have a technician that buys into this plan, he'll never sell anything. But it may be that the front office person has that rapport, and that front office person may actually sell have the technician drop off a flyer with the customer whenever they go to the house. That should be something that the front office person, if I have a good front office person, they will actually help me sell this this one of these plans to the customer. Like I said, then there's inner tubs. So everybody knows that you really need to about once every year clean your inner tub. Maybe a boot maintenance program for the front load washer. We all know that if the boot starts to leak, I've got a real problem, and I've got a huge expensive part that I've got to replace. So I want to make sure that I don't have that for the customer. And then a regular clean out of your lint filters. One of the guys that I know that still has his own appliance company, he sent me a picture the other day of a Whirlpool washer, and he had gone in there, and the customer's complaint was that it didn't drain right. So whenever he got there, he went around and checked everything else, and he's like, yeah, this thing's not draining right. And then he went in and he said, well, this one has a lint filter in it. Here, let me pull the lint filter. Whenever he pulled the lint filter, it was ugly. I mean, it had strings, it had all kinds of things in it, and it was nasty. I mean, is that really what the customer wants for the people that are that are living at their home? I mean, that's not something that you want, and it causes other problems. It may cause the pump to go out because the pump's trying to push that water out, but it's not moving anywhere. It's not moving it out because of all the lint buildup. So that's something that you could use to while you're there. Okay, dishwasher cleanings and sanitizing. A dishwasher, you've got your vitamin C packs that you can throw in there, your citric acid, and you can clean and sanitize a dishwasher. You do the same thing with the washing machine. I can sell a 2-year plan for cleaning the lint out of a dryer. Okay. How many times as a technician, have you gone in and you found just in a dryer, you went and pulled it apart, and there was just all kinds of everything laying around on the bottom of it? I mean, the big joke that I used to get was, I could never about come up with $6 or $7 of coins that had fallen through because nobody ever cleans out their coins. This is a honest to God story. Okay. I was at a customer's house, and I had to clean out it was so nasty. I was replacing the motor because the motor had gone bad, because there wasn't anybody, because nobody had been in and cleaned it for about 8 or 10 years. So I'm in there, and I said, for this one, I'm going to just charge you the time. I'm not going to give you a preventative maintenance. I said, but the only thing is, I get to keep all the change that I find and anything else. So she laughed. We were just, I'd known this customer for years. So I literally said, okay, so we were joking around, and she's watching me clean everything. And I seriously, I come up with, I think it was $64 in change, and also in bills. Well, not only did I find all of that, she had put her wedding engagement ring in her pocket, and I found, and it was about a 4 carat diamond ring in that thing, and she had already turned it into insurance as being lost, and had it replaced. So she was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna have to tell the insurance company." Um, but you find all kinds of things down in there. But if I had a regular cleaning, not only that, so what? Why did all those coins and everything fall through? I can tell you what this one was. I had to go back out to the truck. This was on a Whirlpool dryer. I actually had to go outside and get the lint, the drum kit, so that I could replace the exterior seal on the drum, so that she didn't have all that stuff falling through. But what causes that? That's because they didn't clean out the pockets. So that's just an examples of things that you can actually use to sell. If I get in there and I see that they're not cleaning the dryer, I can say, "Hey, listen, we have a plan. We can come out here every 2 years and clean this, so you don't have any problems. I mean, look, I'm having to replace the motor here. If you had our plan, we'd be down here and we'd have it fixed, and you wouldn't have this problem. Not only that, but since you've got all this lint and everything else is falling through, look at how it's going to help you in the future. You'll find the change in the drum, not down in the bottom of me. You will find the change in the drum instead of me finding it whenever I take the thing apart." Okay. Like I said, what is a preventive maintenance program? It all comes down to your company goals and priorities. Okay. Customers need you to help them have an understanding of the benefits of why the plan is necessary and the benefits of the plan. You have to develop a plan and and the ability of the technician to demonstrate the plan benefits. This could be a scheduled visit, a mailer program, or you could be taking the customer, forgetting what is needed to keep the machine operating at a maximum potential, and it works very well for it. Whenever, like I said, whenever I come in and I realize that they haven't done that, hey, we have a plan that helps you to remember all of this. I mean, with everything that we have, then whenever I have a house that people used to rent. That was one of the things. Whenever they came in and cleaned, I had a checklist that I wanted them to go through and make sure that everything was done properly, and part of it was cleaning the filters on the pulling off the toe plate on the refrigerator and making sure that the lint was off of the condensing coils. So one of the things I'm going to do is one of the things that I can do as a company is I can leverage preventative maintenance software. There are several software companies out there. That's all they do is preventative maintenance, and they have software that literally will ding every time. It will let me know, okay, you got a preventive maintenance coming up at X number of days, and you can actually put those in. That gives you time to go and talk to the customer and go, "Hey, Miss Jones, listen, I've got your preventative maintenance program is set for next Thursday. I just wanted to call you and let you know that we'll be out there Thursday. When can I set up a convenient time for our technician to be there? So it helps. The program helps me to be on top of my game. I know that there are companies out there and they use a spreadsheet. Somebody in the company actually goes into the spreadsheet and looks at it every single day. To me, that's not cost effective. I don't get my return on investment. Okay. So what are some of the companies? Here's a picture of what they do. Okay. They have a preventive maintenance schedule. It's I set this up. I go in and it tells me, if it's something that has to be done weekly. I've got a daily, a weekly, a monthly, a yearly plan that I set it up for. This one is like repeat every 2 weeks. And it could be on a Monday that it pops up so that I have time to go get this taken care of. The change default days until due is 0 on this one. You could set it for whatever you need it to be. Once again, you got a start date. Usually you put an end date in there. Okay. Then I'm gonna pause until the previous instance is complete. I want to make sure that I'm not calling them, bothering them, and we hadn't even completed the last one. There's nothing more embarrassing than somebody go, well, I'm calling for your refrigerator cleaning, and somebody go, well, I'm still waiting on parts. You can't effectively speak to the customer, and I lose all rapport with the customer whenever I don't have the stuff. I would tell you to never autocomplete anything unless I have a mailing program. At that point, I can autocomplete. If I'm just mailing out a filter, or I'm mailing something out, I can put an autocomplete. But me as a business owner, I'm not going to autocomplete unless I have something like that. Okay. Then my preventative maintenance schedule. I'm going to be honest. Whenever I very first started as a technician, that's what I did. Okay. My old boss, Jim Ritchie, that's how he started me. Was I went around and I did cleanings. Let me tell you, after you do ice machine cleanings, about 8 to 10 a day, you get really good at knowing all the parts in an ice machine and how they affect each other. So if I have a young technician that has the basic knowledge, I may put him as my preventative maintenance guy, because there's nothing better to learn than no better way to learn than being on a preventative maintenance guy. Like I said, Mr. Ritchie we probably had 500 to 1,000 ice machines scattered throughout the Atlanta metropolitan area. We had them at restaurants. We had them at like the Holiday Inn. We had a bunch of Holiday Inn ones. We had a bunch of the smaller mom and pops hotels. We had, and that's the way that I learned that. And he also taught me how to do vending machines, because we had, if I was at doing an ice machine, I could check the vending machines and make sure that, because that was one of his other businesses. I mean, it's all about you finding out what you can do in your area. Okay. So one of the things that I will tell you is it's great to have a flyer. If I've got a little trifold flyer, I can get a trifold flyer template from like um, Excel or Word. They all have templates that I can use. My Word template is the one that I started using whenever I started my company, and it was a trifold, and here's what we offer. You know, so what is a flyer? You show I showed examples, and I had an outline of what the program was. Explained the benefits, although I can't spell well. I can't spell. Notice that benefit is not spelt properly. Not having to remember to change the needed products. That's one of the benefits. Set up a good, better, best program, i.e., good being mailing the product would be replacing. Better would be replacing the needed components. The best would be a total examination of the product to make sure that it's in optimal condition. So, guys, this is. I'm just trying to help you to make your business more lucrative. Okay, if your front office personnel or your technical personnel have a rapport with a customer, then they can sell a plan. I mean, one of the guys, whenever I was coming up, and he and I still remain friends. He's gotten out of the business. He's retired, and his son has taken the business over down in the Panhandle of Florida. But that man could sell ice to an Eskimo. I mean, that was one of the things that he was fantastic at. He was a great salesman. And I wish I could have had him working for me back whenever I had my company. Because he was great at that. I still have a really good friend that is in the Panhandle also that sells termite inspections. He's another born salesman. I am not a born salesman. I'll tell you that it's a struggle for me. I still try. There are certain people that I can click with, and I have a rapport with them, and I am able to influence them. That's all it is you're just trying to get the customer to understand what the benefits are. Okay. So the customer may push me off. I can always leave a flyer with them. If you think that this would be something that you could use, please call the office, talk to whoever the office person is that you have assigned to do this, give my name, and then you get an assist. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is make it fun. Okay. You have to figure out what works for you and your customer base. Okay. Train your people, including the front office staff. Discuss any apprehensions they have. Overcome any apprehensions that they have. Have contests. Make it fun. This is what I was trying to tell you is whenever I've had my business, my front office person was she was great. I had a couple of technicians that were, they weren't great at selling. They were kind of like me. It's kind of funny that the guys that I found that hung with me the longest, they were a lot like me. I'm not an outgoing person. I am an introvert, and so I'm not an outgoing person. My ex wife, she could walk into a house party, not know a single person there, and whenever she got done, and we were headed home, she could tell me about every person that was at that party. She had that gift. I call it the gift of gab. Okay. I don't have that, but I know that. But I can still sell if I'm totally convinced that this is the best thing. Uh, Pardon my expression. This is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay. So I'm just telling you that this is a revenue stream that you should think of. Okay. Um, okay. So the last thing that you're going to have is you got to be able to track and adjust your plan. You know what? If something happens and you need to adjust it, you got to have that ability. Okay. I want to be able to track. I want to be able to track my plan. I want to be able to the customer, go to the customer and go to the customer and say, okay, Miss Jones, we've been out to your house now every 6 months for a year. So we made 2 calls to your house. Here are the benefits that we have. Like I said, you may have to leave a message with the customer, but I can still say, hey, Miss Jones, this is Mitch Williams, your appliance professional. Wanted to give you a little update on why you should still keep doing our preventative maintenance program. We found this, and this. We've kept you from having issues with your appliance. We just wanted to let you know that we appreciate your business, and we want to continue your preventative maintenance program. And if you have any questions, here's my personal number. Call me. Just an example. Okay. You have got to be able. It's all about rapport. Okay. It's all about rapport. Okay. So creating a preventive maintenance program isn't a one-time final step of it's not a one-time thing. It's the final step of establishing your plan. Okay. You'll need to track the progress through KPIs and ongoing analysis. Go to a constant monitoring. You'll be able to quickly make adjustments as you need to meet the goals of the original preventative maintenance program. Fortunately, this is something that the right PM software can help you with. Okay. It's important to involve maintenance staff during this process, and you're more likely to identify potential issues and uncover areas for improvement for a program that runs more smoothly over time. Okay. Ultimately, preventative maintenance is a process requiring regularly maintaining the process. Okay, it's not a one-time thing. You're gonna have to watch it. Okay, for your preventative maintenance plan to be effective, it's important to take into account the needs and goals of the involved parties. This will ensure that your preventative maintenance plan is comprehensive and meets all of your organizational needs. Okay, dive into what it takes to develop an effective preventative maintenance program. A successful preventative maintenance program requires effective team communication. This is because quick and precise communication helps to avoid any delays in maintenance, incorrect task prioritization, and potential long-term downtimes. Engagement is a critical element of successful preventative maintenance programs. Okay, by the entire team involved creating a holistic plan, all perspectives can be taken into account the team can more effectively work towards a common goal that meets the needs of the stakeholders, which is your personnel and yourself and your customers. A successful preventative maintenance program requires more than a great maintenance team. It also needs to have the right resources to be able to plan and carry out the necessary tasks. This starts with having a comprehensive knowledge of your asset inventory so you can ensure that all the right parts are on hand when they're needed. This all gets back to what I was talking about at the very beginning. I've got to know what I'm going to need in the future. I need to have, like, if you went back to that, check off list that they had, it may be that I set it up that it goes off 2 weeks before I am trying to get in touch with the customer. That way, I've got the part on hand. If I'm mailing it out, I've got it. I just mail it out. If I have to have a technician, and I am going to, and the technician is going to have this part, then I'm going to have to make sure that I have that part in stock. The last thing I want to do is I have a preventative maintenance program and I can't get the part. So I need to know about this. So I need to have a part in stock, and I need to keep, I would tell you that depending on what it is, if it's a water filter for a refrigerator, I'm probably going to keep one as a spare. Okay. I know that I'm going to need it in 6 months. And it may be that I have 10 preventative maintenance programs all with this same model number. So I may want to keep 3 of these in stock or 4 of these in stock because they're all going to be at different times. Okay. A successful preventative maintenance program requires consistency if it's to reach the lead indicators that indicate optimal performance. Consistent measurement of key performance indicators or KPIs, regular gathering the feedback and the modifications that are necessary for a PM program. That way you can adjust its continual improvement and efficiency. Okay. So this is the end of our program today. Does anybody have any questions? I can tell you that I do not like the new StreamYard because it doesn't tell me any longer who's still with me. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Please put them in the comment section. I'm going to wait a minute. If I don't get any questions, then we're going to wrap it up. Once again, while I'm waiting for questions, once again, I want to thank Encompass. They don't charge anything for these classes. As you know, you can go to Encompass University. Encompass University shows you anything that they have coming up. I know that they have I believe it starts tomorrow, as a matter of fact. The Encompass University has a plan that a live training that is planned. So you can find all that information out on Encompass University. Just go to encompass.com. Go to Encompass University. Click on that tab, and it will show you. It will give you a listing of all the trainings that are upcoming. If something happens and you want to review a program, say you were at the last program that we had, the Ice Maker program, I can go back and look at that. I can also find that here on I can also find that here on StreamYard. Okay. I don't see any questions. I'm going to tell you guys, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Encompass. You are a great parts provider, and you're right. You do not charge for anybody to learn. One of the great things about Encompass, they're more about you than about anybody else. So once again, thanks everybody. Have a wonderful morning, and I hope you consider putting a preventative maintenance program out there. Like I said, you can go and find information on the web just to give yourself an idea. Thanks again. We will talk to you next week.